you ready to permanently fuse leadership and philosophy? Then a word of caution. You are about to enter the fully abstract yet wholly concrete realm of Leadosophy. Our ideas are not always so clear and distinct. To validate this proposition, we welcome the host of Leadosophy, Tim Wood.
So is there, between the golf team and the fraternity, do you feel like part of you is a better person, or you maybe like who you are more as a person because of the new relationships you're surrounded with, the people you're surrounded with, the friends that you've made?
Yeah, I'd say that's a big part, because a lot of the people that I'm close with now is because of the things that I did, because I joined the fraternity. I have a group of brothers that I feel like I'm going to be brothers and friends with for the rest of my life. The golf team isn't so much like that, but those are guys I'm going to be friends with for the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And I like that part about my life. I like that I can just call up my friends and be like, hey, let's go do this, or call this person and be like, hey, let's go do this. I have that option now. Maybe if I want to go somewhere, I can just call up a buddy and be like, hey, let's go do this. I like that part about my life now, because I didn't have that part. And I think that came with not being afraid to step off that ledge and just kind of going over and doing it. And I'm kind of trying to take that approach in the next 4 years, 5 years of school and life. Just go and do it if you feel like you want to do it, because like you said, that opportunity may never present itself again. And that's something I'm fearful of, that I'll have an opportunity in front of me and I don't act on it, and that opportunity is going to be gone for the rest of my life. And I don't want to be sitting around in the next 3-4 years and being like, man, I wish I went through that door. Man, I wish I took that opportunity. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I think there are some opportunities that come up where there is very little downside.
Yeah.
Right? And joining the fraternity, maybe joining the golf team, I mean, the only downside may have been that you may just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
But at least you experienced the opportunity.
Right.
You realized firsthand that you didn't like it, and you could, go pursue new opportunities. And like I said before, there's some opportunities in life as you get older, the windows are open very short amount of time, and you can either go through the window or not. And then some opportunities are there for longer. But I'm happy for you. I'm glad you did that. When he first told me he was joining a fraternity or going to try to join a fraternity, it definitely did not seem like something Michael would do. Like totally not his.
Totally not my forte.
But from the moment you told me that, I was hoping that you would see the process out to conclusion
and embrace it.
And
embrace
the suck or whatever it was, right?
I think embracing it's bigger. I think embracing it's almost as big, if not bigger, than taking that leap. Because I feel like anyone can take that leap. I feel like anyone can step out of their comfort zone just a little bit, just to kind of like dip their toe in the water. But embracing, if that water's too cold or too hot, is just as important as dipping your toe.
Oh, and you got to feel it for yourself. You got to feel the water for yourself.
Yeah.
So, without exposing the inner workings of a fraternity, because I'm sure there's a lot of college students when they go to college after high school, they're freshmen, there may be some peer pressure to join a fraternity. Did you have any peer pressure?
Yeah, but not in the sense of like, if you don't join, everyone's going to hate you. We want you to join because we really, really like you.
Sure.
I had actually hung out with...
No one asked me to join a fraternity, by the way, when I was 40 going to college. So I wish they would have. But anyways.
I had actually hung out with a group of guys that was in the fraternity that I was thinking about joining about 3 weeks before I ended up deciding I wanted to join into it. I liked the environment that I was in. I liked the guys that I was hanging around with. And ultimately, about 2 weeks later, when it came up, they have to like ask you to. You're not
going to expose anything. I don't want to get you in trouble here.
No, I don't think so. Yeah. It's like,
if you're uncertain, we can go to the next question. I have a really good question to ask you about.
Yeah, no, I think it's okay. I'll just kind of give the general on this. They basically, I tell them that I want to join, and then they let me know that they would like me to join also.
And then you go through the process.
And then I go through the process.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because they all really, so about 2 weeks after that, right before we did all of that, they were just like, hey, like, we really, really want you to be a part of this. And I think that can be a sense of peer pressure because like if I don't go through with it, then everyone like is gonna be upset with me. But it was more like they really wanted me to do it, and I really wanted to do it, and all that stuff.
So you went through the process. You went through the process, and I don't know what that process is. And Michael won't tell me what it is. That's all right.
No.
So having done that now, because again, I think this is important for any new college student because this may potentially be a big part of your experience. What skills maybe have you taken away? How has that changed you being in the fraternity? Like, how are you a better person? Are you a better person because you're in a fraternity, and why?
Yeah. I definitely feel like I'm a better person. I feel like you know, a lot of people go about day to day and they learn from each other, you know, and being in the fraternity that I'm in, the guys that I'm around are just like me. And I think that's one of the biggest things in terms of like joining it. You know, I learn certain things from them. I pick up certain things. I think the biggest skill that I've picked up from joining that fraternity is communication.
That's a good one. That's right down the stream of Leadosophy.
Yeah, so I can't really talk. I don't want to say
no, just get me in trouble. That's a good one though. Just communication is a big one.
We do something where we basically talk once a week about things that need to be talked about, and that's the biggest thing in terms of getting the stuff done that we need to get done because we do a lot of events. We hold a lot of events. We do a lot of things for outside.
You guys do volunteer work, right?
Yeah, we actually.
Can you say the fraternity what it is?
Yeah, the fraternity is it's called Excelsior.
Excelsior.
Okay. Excelsior Men's Society. We actually, so in terms of communication, we had to call up the people who run, it's called Highway Cleanup. And we're going to, sometime this summer, we're going to go out for about 2 hours a day for about 3 days. And we're just going to pick up trash from the highway. And we had to talk about all of the nitty gritty details in terms of like, who do we have to call? How are we going to get it set up? Who's all going to be here? How long we're going to do it? What highway we're going to go do it at?
So just general communication skills, which translate over to the business world at some point.
Yeah, at some point you're going to have to talk to a boss or you're going to have to talk to a coworker. I think communication is going to be, you know, right now I'm already feeling like it's benefited me a lot. I can only imagine what's going to be like in 4 years when I'm getting ready to go off into the world. So, but yeah, communication was probably the biggest one for me.
That's good. That's good stuff. Let's talk about the future for you. Have your expectations changed for the future, having gone through your first year at Heidelberg? Do you have any new goals, anything like that? What does the future look like for Michael Woody?
Yeah, so I think expectations have changed, not necessarily in a bad way, but in terms of me realizing like, man, this is gonna be a long, brutal road because, you know, what I want to do, I have to be in school for about another 11 years, give or take. So
because what do you want to do?
I want to be an orthopedic surgeon.
Wants to be an orthopedic surgeon.
But the expectation was, you know, I'll go to college, I'll go to med school, I'll be in. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. I've been talking to you about it. My classes for next semester are looking brutal.
What does your first semester look like next year?
Yeah, so my first semester of next year looks like I take a chemistry, I take a chemistry lab, I take calculus, and I take 2 psychologies. Actually, I'll be done with my minor after next
Your minor is
psychology,
right? Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's just next semester. And then, you know, I still have to take 2 other forms of chemistry. I have to take a biochemistry. It's going to be brutal. So expectation-wise, I set the bar a little low for myself, I guess, in terms of like how easy and or hard classes were going to be. Like,
did you put in enough effort this year, you believe?
Yeah. I finished, I'll tell you guys, I told him I finished with 3 A+ and 2 A's, which I felt was pretty good. I got A+ on every single final that I took for every single class that I took. I was really happy with how my first year turned out. But I set my bar kind of low in terms of expectations because I thought it was going to be, you know, just like high school. I was going to be able to breeze by. It's not going to be like that. I'm going to have to take a lot of hard classes. I'm going to have to do really well in a lot of these hard classes in order to get to the places that I want to get to. So that's a little nerve-wracking for me, but it's not something that I'm gonna, you know, roll over and cry about.
Let's talk about preparation to meet those challenges, right? Do you feel like you are mentally prepared to meet those challenges?
Yeah.
Or do you think there's a gap? Is there a gap you still need to close to get things you need to get better at?
Yeah, I think I could. I felt like I did really good this year because my classes weren't as hard. I feel like if I had prepared and did as much work as I did this year, next semester, it's not gonna be very good for me. I did more than the usual amount of work. I did above average in terms of my preparedness and in terms of studying, but I don't feel like it was enough. And that's what I'm saying is my expectations of studying. I feel like next semester I'm going to be studying like 30 plus hours a week just to get by, you know what I mean?
Did you how were your time management skills? Did they improve?
Yeah.
Throughout the year?
Yes.
Like, talk about time management in the beginning and then at the end when you finished.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to compare them because my first semester I wasn't playing sports, and my second semester I was a college athlete.
That's true.
But throwing sports out of the way, time management was my first semester was not as good as I had 2 B's my first semester. That's a perfect example to tell you how different my time management was. I had 2 B's. Not that that's terrible.
And you weren't in sports,
and I wasn't in sports. Yeah. Not to say that's terrible. B's aren't bad, but comparing them, I didn't put enough time for school. I definitely felt like I was exploring that freedom that we talked about. I was exploring, my limits for everything like that, and how what's the minimum amount I can put in, what's the medium amount I can put in, what's the maximum amount I can put in.
That's a good point. Life is a lot of that value judgment of time and effort.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I figured out like, hey, this is about the amount that I can put in to get by and be okay. And then this is the amount that I can put in to get by and be really good. And I took this amount and I put it into this semester. But I don't feel like this amount's going to be good enough for next semester. So, measuring those little timetables out, it's going to be tricky just because now, I'm a college athlete now or student athlete now. So I'm gonna be taking all those classes as well as, we practice 5 days a week for 3-4 hours sometimes. So I wake up. So like this semester, for example, I'd wake up, I'd go at 10 a.m. I'd have about
10 a.m. class.
10 a.m. class, yeah.
Right.
10 a.m. class. I'd have about a 2-hour break. I would have it wasn't like a big class. It was kind of like, it was just like a 30-minute class at noon. And then I'd have a class at 2, and then class from 2 to 3. I would go to practice from 3:30 to about 7:30. Then I gotta go back. I gotta shower. I gotta make sure I eat at some point. And by the time I'm settling into some clothes and not having to do anything else, it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So dealing with that.
Quite different than high school.
Yeah, quite different than high school. I go. They have all my classes set up. They have all my timetables set up. I have to pick all my classes, but it's not just about picking classes. It's about picking all my times, right?
The time slots for the classes.
Like next semester, a lot of my classes I had to do like bright and early in the morning because I have practice in the middle of the afternoon. And then I had some classes this semester that I had to put at 6 o'clock in the afternoon because I had practice. So it's just, that's that responsibility that we're talking about, just being able to kind of adapt to the situation and go through all that.
When I went back to college, the first thing I found interesting was being able to pick your time slots of the classes.
Yeah.
That was
it's super cool.
And you have to get on there really quick because all the good time slots go fast.
Yeah, and all the good time slots.
What are the good time slots for classes?
Anything past noon.
Anything past noon.
Because I had my first semester, I had a 7 o'clock class.
7 in the morning?
Yes, 7 in the morning. Awful.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any 7 in the morning classes this semester, but I had a class from 6 in the afternoon until 9 in the afternoon.
6 to 9 p.m.
6 to 9 p.m.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And that's awful.
Yeah.
I thought picking your time slots, I like how you have that option. And I think that has to come with, like, kids have to be able to choose what time they do things because they have other things going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Thanks for watching and listening to another episode of Leadosophy. If you liked what you heard today, hit that subscribe button and check out Leadosophy.com and learn more about Tim's ideas on philosophy and leadership. We'll see you next time.